All right, we just have a couple of minutes left in our hour time frame here. So just wanted to take a really quick high level look at CCH Answer Connect, our tax research platform. As you've heard several times during this presentation, if you're looking for more information, if you want to know more, please reach out. We're going to ask the same thing here. What I really want to focus on as we built CCH Answer Connect was how content is put together. Really focusing on the presentation of information, the tax research workflow, and how CCH Answer Connect can best work within the framework of doing research and how you're accustomed to doing it. We're going to spend some time actually looking at this as though we were doing some research based on the golden parachute that we heard about from Allison in early part of the presentation. I really just want to start there. As we built CCH Answer Connect, we wanted to get rid of publications. As you can see from my home screen here, we're really focused on content. Are you looking for a tax topic? Is there a code section you're looking for? Where do you want to go? There's some other information on the legislative highlights, which as we all know is going to become a huge issue here in the very near future likely, as well as some of the COVID-19 as we start to phase out beyond that and move into the legislative piece. What I'm actually going to do really quickly here is just run a search on golden parachute, as we've heard discussed here. I really want to spend a little bit of time focusing on what type of information you're going to be able to see here. There we go. Sorry, my internet connection is a little bit slow today. What we're now seeing as we log into CCH Answer Connect is our content related to our federal topic as I've done searching here. We also break the content down into state, international, as well as some of our specialty areas from this piece. But what I want to talk about initially is jumping into that explanation. We talked about the calculation of the golden parachute payments. I'm going to go into the CCH explanation as it relates to that. What we've done here is now gathered all the content related to golden parachutes as it relates to 280G, as Allison had mentioned, all the subclassifications, all the categories that you would have looking for information for. But what I really want to spend a couple of moments focusing on here is the way we structured the information. We've brought everything related to 280G now into a single screen view. So if you begin your research in the code, you have the ability to go into the IRC section, read that in its entirety. You can then scroll over into the next tab and take a look at the regulations related to 280G. What is the interpretive guidance from the IRS going to be? We were already in the explanation tab. You have the ability to take a look at what CCH has put together for you. We can scroll further down and we can actually expand out our golden parachute explanations to dive deeper into specific areas within this topic that may be on point or relevant to our tax research process. From here, we can then move into our cases, administrative guidance, rulings, annotations, everything that's been out there that's legislated on this piece. We do have access to our forms and instructions. What I also want to bring to your point here is tools. Because what we heard as we developed CCH Answer Connect was the need to be able to communicate findings, whether it's to a client or whether it's within the corporate tax department, what the outcome was. Our editorial team has now taken the tools and brought them into the research workflow. So you have that information at your fingertips as part of the overall process. Newly added for us is an additional tab, our More tab. What we've done here now is actually expanded our content into additional areas within CCH offering. Our tax prep partner, that is our tool that we use that ties into our compliance pieces, which is more compliance based on how you would handle this. We've also then brought in some of our great treatise content. We heard mention about this topic in mergers and acquisitions. We're now linking you directly into our mergers and acquisition treatise to find out what the penalties or change of ownership as it relates to golden parachute payments are, how it can be calculated and moving through that process. So again, this is looking at our information from a code-based structure. I'm going to jump really quickly back to my search results. I'm going to change my view a little bit here, and I'm going to get into my topics. Where we differentiate between our explanations, our topics, is the explanations are very much geared towards the specific code section and walks you through it in that order. But what we've actually done here with our topic pages is given you a larger scope view of the overall concept as a whole and allows the researcher to digest and become better informed overall on what's out here and what's available. So these are our topic pages. You can see it's actually dropped me, I'm in my limitations on compensation deduction topic page, and it's dropped me directly into my golden parachute section where we're going to give you some additional discussion. We heard some talking about covered employees. We cover that for you. Examples. I'm going to use some of my navigation screens here so we don't make everybody dizzy. We talk about compensation as it relates to it. But what we've done to take this a level further now is brought in recommended topics. Is there other information you need to be aware of? We've also brought in then all code sections you need to be aware of. Some may know that 280G is the golden parachute code section. But for those that are less versed in research, would start in this kind of explanation, we're going to drive you to that content. The user can simply click on this link. It will then take them to that 360 view, if you will, of all the topic and all the tabs and all the content that we had available here. We talked about some additional legislation that's taking place that is also available. So that was a really quick overview in terms of how to maneuver around CCH Answer Connect. Want to take one step back, and I'm going to go jump out to Google. Because one of the things as we developed CCH Answer Connect is we realized and we heard over and over again that Google is becoming a far more utilized tax research tool. We then wanted to integrate exactly what you were doing in research workflows and put our content in front of you. So I've already run a search here for Golden Parachute, and as part of our subscription to CCH Answer Connect, we actually now include our search results directly within that Google search or Yahoo search, whatever search engine you're using. You'll notice my first explanation is that explanation that I jumped into originally when I was in CCH Answer Connect. But we really wanted to take this one step further and really wanted to integrate our content into any document available on the web. We know that we are coming up on some pretty significant legislations in the coming weeks and months. So the information that we're seeing on the web may or may no longer be applicable law. And what is your risk? What is your exposure if you're using law that has been subsequently changed and you're not aware of that? I'm going to have a little bit of fun here, and we're going to go into Wikipedia because every good tax researcher is going to start in Wikipedia. And I've gone through and I've taken a look at this document and it seems to be on point, but now I need to verify that. If I simply come in and highlight the code section 280G as made reference here, and I search within the CCH browser search, I am now initiating the search back in a trusted known source related to 280G golden parachute payments, and I'm back within that 360 tabular view to verify whether or not the document that I've just read on the web is still applicable in current law. Again, would love to take a little bit more time with you to dive into this deeper. We've hit the top of the hour, so Sarah, I'm going to pass it back to you for our final polling question.